We're talking about rich people shit.
Oh my god. Are we live? Did it let me do it?
Did it do it?
Wow. I think so. Here we are. We're live. It looks like we're live.
Ah. Welcome to the heat wave of '06, bitches.
Oh, oh
We have
06.
strong today. 26. You know
It's
what?
like we went back 20 years.
2 decades. Can we like take some time off?
For real.
Just go back for a little bit. Just have a little break.
For real. I know I
Are
have
we live?
like, yeah, we're live. I had like every appliance. I tried to have like every appliance off or some. I was trying not to run any lights or whatever. I was just running like the bare bones stuff all
I
throughout
also
this heat
found the
wave.
most expensive laptop, by the way.
Oh,
You found the what?
Allegedly. I allegedly found the most expensive laptop.
How much? 10 grand?
1
1,000?
million.
There you go.
1
It's
million.
called the Luvaglio, a bespoke luxury device priced at 1 million. It features a handmade casing, rare diamonds, and exotic materials, and a diamond encrusted power button that doubles as a security key.
But it's also probably not as good.
I was
No,
gonna
it probably
say
sucks.
it probably
It's
runs like
probably the most
shit.
Yeah, I was gonna say it sucks. It 100% sucks.
So what I'm actually talking about is like what the guys who run what or Musk or these cunts who I hate are all using for their laptops. They're probably like $250,000 laptops, right? Like there's no way they're dropping just 3Gs on a
I don't
laptop
even
like that.
think they use laptops anymore. I think they just like tweet
They
some bullshit
absolutely-
on their phone and then peace out for the day.
A lot of people absolutely do carry their laptops with them and just have have it so that they can just like hand it off to a personal assistant. You know what I mean?
I'm not at that
Yeah.
level.
Really,
I
you
will
gotta remember
say
the rich don't think like we do. They will hire somebody to wipe their ass if they feel like it's worth the time to save them the
God,
$5, right?
for real though, like that's I can't even get into the class warfare just yet. It's too early. It's too early in the
We had a
episode to get
It's
into.
too early in the episode, too early in the day, even though it's 2 o'clock in the afternoon.
Also, I feel like my broke ass microphone boom arm right here. I'm pointing it out because I still don't have the correct fittings, and I literally gaffer taped this. This is the type of pink tape we use in film to put down on like carpets to mark where like an actor is gonna stand and stuff. There's other stuff you can use for tees, but like yeah. Oh, my eye position changes on like which part of the screen I'm looking at based on if Jay has his camera on or not.
Yeah, I did notice that if you turn your video off, then it kind of changes the position of where everyone is. We did have a launching point for today's particular discussion. I think Sophia was starting us off with that.
So, post pride reflection. Would you rather be hated for something that you are or celebrated for something that you are not?
And then I feel like cue the Wicked theme, you know, like
I haven't seen that movie, honestly.
you haven't seen Wicked? It's
Real. I don't
like
go to the theaters unless somebody I know wants to go watch something. I just work on TV and film. I don't.
yeah. When you work in the industry, you're not like, you know.
It's not. I'm not trying to humble brag or anything. It's just like it's a matter of like, it's expensive. It's a lot of time and energy, and I just have other stuff that I'm working on. Like I love TV. Don't get me wrong. This world is on fire, and I am actively trying to put out the fires. That's basically where a lot of my time goes to is like self-care and putting out fires and
fair.
healing. You know, so
That's fair. So would you rather be celebrated for something that you are not?
that you're not. Yep.
I'd rather be hated, I think.
Of course, we're trans people. We all know the answer for us, right?
Yeah.
We're hated for that which we are because we don't want to be celebrated for that which we are not.
Yeah. And then it kind of ties into, and I feel similarly because like there's nothing that pisses me off more than being misrepresented, for what I'm about, like some, for like with me, like being heathen, people could automatically assume, oh, racist, Nazi, and it's like, whoa, hold on, pump the brakes. That's not the case. And it's what really sucks is like it seems that the lie about a person or the mistruth, misrepresentation of them, their actions, their legacy, whatever, it seems that the lie sticks harder than the truth. I don't know. And that's even like, I don't know, you could even like,
Is it the lie or is it the trope?
huh?
Is it the lie or is it the trope? Because a lie is something that you tell for like safety or protection or for manipulation. And a trope is like a pre-established narrative that we end up playing into whether we like it or not.
I guess it could be one of those little bit of column A, a little bit of column B scenarios. Sorry, I have to turn you up a little bit,
Yeah.
Sophia.
I'm messing with my microphone gain as like a muting.
Okay.
You just let me know the level that it's solid at and I'll leave it there.
Okay. Then I'll leave you just at 100 on there, and then
Yeah, leave me at 100 and I'll just pop it right there. We'll call it good, and I'll just mute my mic.
there you go. Shit, what was I saying? Getting distracted by the technical things.
I know, that's the worst thing. You're managing 6 demons at once. It's never just like come and chill.
This is why I'm very happy that Rue hangs out in the chat a lot now. That's so like while we're streaming, Rue is in the chat because while I can look at it, I can't always, like 100% interact with it because sometimes it's hard to bring it into the where we're at in the conversation. So anyway, not to get super meta about the ins and outs of podcasting live, but
you were talking about people making assumptions on you based on how you look, like
right.
somebody assuming that you're racist because you're white, or well, maybe that wasn't about how you look. It was about being a pagan.
Yeah,
them assuming that you might be like Nazi affiliated.
Yeah. So, people might have misconceptions, right? And, also being trans, people have misconceptions about that and whatever. We all judge each other for whatever reasons we have. Part of it is like that's what humans do, right? We're categorizing. We're trying to understand if you're a safe person to interact with, whatever the case is. So, that's fine, and it's happening on both sides. But yeah, there is really nothing that pisses me off more because I really want to be remembered for my actions, for the things that I did, the things that I built, the relationships I had. I don't necessarily need to leave a book. I'd like to leave a book. Something with my name attached to it. But, I don't really think I need to leave, I don't know, I don't need that clout necessarily. But what is more important to me is that the things that I have built, the things that I, continue to build, live on past me. And so if
ego appeasement, essentially.
Hmm?
You don't need ego appeasement because if you pass something on, you're passing it on for the sake of that gift itself and the knowledge. You're happy to just live your life and be, because your ego's already appeased.
Exactly. And I've always just kind of wanted that. And yeah, is it nice to be recognized? Sure. But I don't want to ever be misrepresented. I don't want to, I would really hate for, my legacy to be like, people be like, yeah, Jay, he did all these things because it was a power grab and he was a jerk, and it's like, what I never got paid. Like
I actually have a hot take on this because like I've talked to a lot of people about DKMU after leaving DKMU, because I don't know if you've known about what's happened. It's fallen apart into like a cesspool, and a lot of people won't even really affiliate with it anymore. A lot of people won't touch it with a 99.5-foot pole. And
I discovered that I was removed from the Discord. I am no longer in there, but
it's not worth being in there anyways. I had something useful to say, but the spirits kind of do this thing where if you're not supposed to say something, they'll like pull it out of your mind. You know what I mean? And you're not supposed to really struggle to get it back. I'm trying to live a little bit more in that space. So I'll just move on from that topic.
But so to kind of circle back to how we kind of started off this episode, the topic, me and Scott were actually kind of darkly joking. So I guess let me rewind just a little bit. Yes, 2 weeks ago, 2 weeks ago in the ancient times of 2 weeks ago, me and Scott were on a retreat with our Brauerei guild. I am happy to say I have been past the power. I am now in my journeyman phase, and I'm very excited about that. And it was a huge accomplishment. But I won't take a lot of time to talk about that. That could be a blog post.
You could even take a minute to talk about it. Honestly, I don't mind because it is a pretty powerful moment for you guys to step into something and have your power passed along to you. Like, if I had something happen, I wouldn't mind lingering for a minute on it. That is a big achievement. Like, congratulations.
Thank you. But because I would love to talk about initiations, so that could be like a kind of I would kind of want to save that, for like talking about initiation, separate topic. Remember this, someone.
It's not like we can actually
right, Rue, write this down.
Rue's over there taking notes down, like, Jesus Christ, I gotta keep shitheads together because they can't.
Rue's
do it
probably
themselves.
like doing like a beating project. Like, I got my hands full. I don't know what you're talking about.
And I'm like typing with my hands like this because I have nails right now and I can't do the proper clicky clack. And I'm just like, no.
Yeah. Okay, Brauerei Guild retreat. Yeah, so that's where we were, and it was a great week. It was very much, it's a retreat with other practitioners, and you're learning stuff and learning things from each other. It was a really wonderful time. And we were talking, you can't not talk about the world at large, even when you're on a retreat, because you're still connected to, social media and whatnot. So we were talking about all these MAGA fucking people and why do they gravitate around this personality? Why, and I'm like, well, because it reminds them of their abusive parents, like, let's be real. And maybe they find comfort in that. They want to be bullied is what I was saying. I was like, they want to be bullied by us at this point, It was sort of that idea of like, well, if you think I'm a monster, I'll be a monster. You know what I mean? It was sort of like that thinking. And we were darkly joking. It was like I'm bullying you now. Look what you made me do. You made me do this. Does this sound familiar to you? It was just like, it was terrible. We're being terrible.
It was terrible. It was horrible, but it was funny as hell. And, yeah. I mean, you get it, right?
Yeah.
I'm over here because I'm pretty sure all these guys who are like the MAGA dudes are like actually just gay. Like, real talk, like, I've been observing a lot of like men lately because I'm bi, and the problem with being a trans woman is it's kind of unsafe to date guys sometimes. So either you're like a girl who's like really able to, I don't know, have her body motivate her to want to go meet guys, or you are somebody who's a little bit more scared like me, because I'm like fully bi. Like, I like guys and women. I want to date women and I want to date guys at the same time. Like, I'm polyamorous. I want both. But men are actually into trans women because they want men. No, real talk. A lot of men are into trans women because they think that what they're going to get out of a trans woman is a man, because they know that that's actually what they're sexually craving, and they're trying to go for it in the dick with you. But you're very feminine, and there's a lot of complications that are around that, right? Like, there's one of two situations that's typically happening, right? Either actually one of three. Either A, they're like just straight up a bi guy who like really knows their shit and likes you because you're feminine and they adore the femininity of trans women. Bi guys are hella affirming to trans women. We shout you out, bi kings and pan kings, like, Godspeed, all of you queer brethren. The trans femmes and the trans masks see you, and the NBs see you, and we salute you for the grandstanding people that you are. But cis men who are like binary sexuality, as in they see themselves as gay or straight, they will often try to relate through trans women, right? And you can tell it on how they relate to you, right? Because like this is the second type, right? Like the binary sexuality, the person who's likely gay, who's like using you as an outlet for their homosexuality. And then the third type is just basically really simple, unsure about gender and their like own presentation and exploration of it, and probably wants to put on some fishnets and have you peg them in the ass while they're wearing chastity cage, and you call them your little bitch or like your good boy, whatever like they want. And it's like one of the three. You like throw a fucking dice and like you get your answer, right? 1 to 2 is the first one, 3 to 4 is the next one, 5 to 6 is the last one. Congrats.
You throw 3 darts at the wall.
He rolled a dice
Seriously?
system for basically figuring out why a guy is interested in a trans woman. Either he's like genuinely interested in her as a person or like her femininity, or like he's fucking gay, or like he is actually like gender expression himself and wants to like kind of go through that, right? And I say that he's gay not to like deride gay guys, but like gay guys do explore their sexuality with trans women a lot, and I feel like we don't talk about this enough.
Hmm.
Yeah, I
It's true.
also just to also make sure this is said too, for the unlikely cis hetero man watching, particularly the ones that also talk about cracking femboys, as you guys say.
Ah, you're
Also,
killing me
people
right now.
I
What are you
have
doing?
never heard this
also
terminology. Okay. This is fun.
that's what they say. They call like cracking. Yeah, it's like fucking whatever.
Okay.
This also pertains to you. You also are involved in this as well. You are as much a perpetrator as everything we're saying
What?
as anyone else.
Holy.
Ah, man, I love it when a social commentary is so succinct and just just
I don't
wrap
know
it
what
all
killed
up
me
in one.
harder. I don't know what killed me harder. The idea that they're cracking open femboys, or like that a straight cis man would watch our show.
Yeah, I'm not sure. Like, though, I guess Mike qualifies. There might be one. Might have one
Oh,
viewer.
We see you, Mr. Token Straight Cis Man. You keep going hard because there's going to be less of you in the coming days when all of the MAGA men realize they are flaming homosexuals who like massive biceps, flaming abdomen muscles, and rippling penises in their assholes.
rippling penises. That will be an image that will never leave my mind ever.
Uh,
Sorry. It's just the whole thing is so gay, right? Like you can't like for real talk.
the
These
90s are back and
guys
everything's
see
gay
this
now.
they see this old guy who's like fucking 80 and shits himself and is in diapers, and they like tell themselves like I couldn't beat this man up. He's like the ideal masculine. Like how many layers of cope are you on, brother in
Yeah,
Christ?
and that's why I just think it just comes back to I really support this theory that he is everyone's abusive parent. He is
He's
the
also
figurehead, for just a fucked up individual.
They literally call him daddy. So
Yeah.
many of them have literally called him daddy, and they're serious about it.
yeah.
Like, not kidding, called him daddy.
And it pisses me.
Like,
Like
Here's what makes me mad. A post-Pride rant, okay? So they've been trying to
this is yeah,
sanitize Pride, right? Like no pups, no leather, no kink, nothing vaguely sexual
trans.
at
You fucking if you
just
kick
being
out the kink
trans makes you
if you kick
kinky, I
out the trans
guess.
people no, what I'm saying by this is it's the same argument. If you let them kick out trans people, they immediately go for the kink community. If you let them kick out the kink community, they'll immediately go for trans people. They're both canaries in the coal mine. You cannot
Mm,
sacrifice either of them. They're inexorably linked. If one goes down, the other is immediately at risk. That's
yeah.
something to pay very close attention to, because that's what they did in 1930 in Berlin. They didn't just kill the queers, they killed anybody who was like not sexually within like the stereotypical what was later established as the nuclear family unit, right? So
Mhm.
this includes like the leather or the leather queers, even like the straight leather people and the people who are into like impact and stuff. Your kink will not be protected no matter the only thing that can ever protect your kink is your class. Only like the upper echelons can have their kinks protected, because anybody else doing it will always had it seen as a form of degradation to them, and as like a means for with which you can purge those people as being like a
deviant.
virulent, no, or like a virus, or like a
Mm.
contagion factor. That's what I'm looking the words I'm looking
Which
for,
is
right?
which is the language that I've been seeing a lot with queer people lately. I also want to say too, just because this is reminding me of historically, we've always had an issue in the movement with acceptability queers who want to be, brought in to cis heteronormative, um,
The inner circles.
whatever. Yeah. The thing is that we've seen this before as well, because we see a lot of queer people, or I
Yeah.
should say, a lot of cis white gay people.
It's just the pick-me's. It
Um,
doesn't even have to be you can just call them the pick-me's because there's
the
racial
pick
pick-me's, there's queer pick-me's. They're just the
the
pick-me's, honestly.
the
Yeah.
pick-me's, they
Not to
caused the
be
problem
confused
in
with
the 80s
Pikmin.
too. They caused a problem in the 80s too, where they fought back against like the ACT UP movement and stuff like that, who was fighting more for our liberation and obviously not for our assimilation, right? We want our culture, we want our art and our literature and our film and, all this stuff. We don't want it to be sort of taken over and sanitized. And I keep having these annoying arguments with these pick-me's who particularly about like the I don't know if you saw it. New York Times released this god awful think piece by a gentleman with the last name of Vines.
Gay, not
um
queer. That one.
Okay, not queer and it
Mm,
matters. Yeah, and it's weird because like so many
betrayal.
people are like, "Oh, we should be sympathetic, we should be understanding," and I was like, "No, I shouldn't, and no, I don't have to." And yes, the fucking think piece was stupid. Number one, he's like putting all the blame on queer people for our oppression. You're just blaming the fucking victim, and then on top of that, the like when you find out who he wrote a book about like queerness and Christianity and like bridging the gap between queerness and your Christian faith, and then it starts to kind of like starts to make sense, and then it's like, oh, you're just one of those, you know what I mean? You're all about acceptability. You're all about like, well, why do we have to, why does pride have to be what pride is? Why do you have to wear assless chaps, And it's just like, number one, stop acting like pride is Folsom Street Fair. You know what I mean? It's not. Um,
I
Go
don't know
ahead.
when we've done this.
Yeah, please. I'm just ranting because I'm over
Yeah.
arguing about it on threads.
I forgot what my point was. Oh, the pick. Right. Okay. So this is also the other thing I was gonna say. If something ever pops out of your mind and then it pops back in, that's also the spirit saying, "No, go ahead, say it." That's cool, right? Um, you, we are undergoing the process of this same dynamic that's happened since
Raise your gain,
childhood
Sophia.
for everybody. I had to turn it down because it was kicking accidentally.
Wait, there you
I'll
go.
just turn it up when I'm talking. I'll just
Yeah.
turn it up when I'm talking and turn it down when I'm not because it'll kick when I don't.
Yeah.
Um, so we're replaying a dynamic that's happened since schoolyard, right? This is essentially the bully encroaches and takes space. And everybody thinks that if you give space to the bully and give him what he wants, it'll work. There's only one thing that ever works against the bully. There's only one thing that has ever worked against the bully. And there's only one thing that will ever continue to work against the bully. You beat his fucking ass and you take the repercussions. Sorry for yelling into the microphone.
It's true though. And that's what
It's
me and
true.
Scott were talking about. We were like, look what like I'm bullying you now. I'm hitting you. I don't want to do that. And that's the thing with me is I don't want to do that to someone because I'm like I know you're hurting. I know you're in pain and you're just not addressing it. So I guess maybe in order for you to feel something, I have to beat the living shit out of you.
Yeah. And
And
they will only realize it after you hurt them because they have to meet it on a physical level and meet their repercussions met back upon them to understand what they're doing. It just
yeah,
won't be changed any other way. That's why, like I say, protests don't work. I very much am about industrial sabotage at this point because
mm,
like it's
that's the only thing that's
I'm not
gonna
advocating
really
hurting
make a
people, right? I'm not saying let's go kill people. I'm saying let's cut down the machines then. If they're going to go build these data centers, let's go hack the hydraulic lines on them. I used to work construction. I know exactly which lines you can cut on a excavator and it won't be able to break the ground. You won't even be able to move stuff without those lines, right?
I
And
saw a
it's as simple as
couple articles of people were stripping the copper.
yeah, copper out of the flock stuff. But like we're at the point where basically everybody is going to get called a terrorist in their life now. We're at this level of acceleration with Palantir. I was reading an article about it this morning.
We're all
So
terrorists.
if the glove fits, you might as well lace it up and wear that bitch, right? If they're
Mm.
gonna make all of us terrorists,
And see, and that's where it weirdly circles back into kind of what we were talking about before, right? It's this weird circle of like, you know, I don't consider myself a mean-spirited person, right? Like, I'm really not. It's not in my nature to do that. However, the urge to, like, bully and, like, just call names and, I don't know, beat the crap. Not kill. And I'm not even talking about actually. I'm not talking about like murdering people. That's awful shit. Some people just need to get whacked really fucking hard. You know.
I learned actually yesterday about violence, and I thought I wasn't going to talk about. I'm gonna. I had a queer yesterday who was being very rude to me, and I didn't realize it until today. How he was like deliberately saying hurtful things to try and upset me, to try and make me look worse in front of a friend, to like deliberately take that space. And like violence is violence, right? Is it moral? No. Is it immoral? No.
No, it's a very
It's a
just it is. Yeah.
And honestly, a lot of us queers and a lot of us autistic queers were too nice to people.
I
This
agree.
person knew what they were doing. They deliberately said hurtful things about like my racial background that I had told them about prior to that. They deliberately like tried to come after my hair. Like when someone's saying shit about your hair, you know they're just trying to like pick at you, right?
Yeah.
And it's like I couldn't recognize that violence because I was too nice in the time. And it took me actually like a whole like almost 24 hours to really realize like why it had stuck with me so much. And I realize now those acts were deliberate, right? This person had deliberately done those things to try and get some time with my friend because they viewed me as competition, because they thought I was trying to like sleep with my friend because I'm a pretty girl, and that's like my friend. We were just walking for smoking a joint. You know what I mean? It was like a whole thing. But like at the end of the day, it's hard to say this, but as somebody who's kind, you're never actually going to really understand how someone who's hateful thinks or feels.
I know.
You're not going to understand them as much as you try to empathize with them. They're kind of a different breed.
Yeah, and
Right?
I've been struggling with coming to that that realization because I'm like, how like I'm all for okay, you had a bad upbringing. Okay, fine. Well, I could roll with that. Your mom dad did awful drugs. You're in the system. Okay, I can, like there's so much room for empathy and forgiveness also too, to a point like, hey, I understand why you were a jerk. Let's not be a jerk anymore. But there's just no they're not wired that way, and it's really weird and difficult, definitely, to understand, how they work. So yeah, I totally agree with what you were saying.
Yep,
And someone like, oh, sorry, you go ahead, Scott, please.
No, I was just saying there's no accountability, there's no self-awareness. And I think that tends to be, I think, the hallmark of what we're talking about. I think that those are sort of the signs of the kind of people, right? Like people who are good tend to, I mean, not all the time, but like we tend to have more self-awareness, we tend to have more accountability, we're at least ready to accept what is that, criticism, like if we're messing up, we often have friends who be like, hey, we need to talk for a minute, can you sit down? You know what I mean? Like we're noticing this pattern of behavior, it's doing this to us and we see it doing this to you, you know what I mean? And we could sit down and have that conversation, but these people would fly off the handle if you try to criticize, if you try to even have like a polite sort of call in moment, you know what I mean? And it's really a lack of self-awareness. It is.
It's tragic how much kindness we apply to other people that they will never apply back to us.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's a lot like working magic for people who don't believe, right? Or like
Yeah.
trying to do healing for someone who's like, I don't even believe in God, or like whatever.
Your life is your life. I'm really stepping into non-interference right now. You want me to help you? Ask me to help you. It's not my job to read your mind. Even if I can read your mind, it's not my job to read your fucking mind and like have to process my own shit as well, right? Like, yeah, I'm good with body language.
I really
Yeah, I'm
like
good with
that.
understanding context, right? It's not my job And it shouldn't be just because I can recognize it. Why does everybody's duties always have to fall into me because I'm the emotional one who can recognize it and can give compassion? Because then we never provide care for ourselves.
Yep.
And we're the ones who
Mhm.
need so much that we can't even survive at past a point, you know?
And I think that's why this whole socio-political sort of this slide back, right? This slide backwards in our progress, social progress or whatever, has really thrown me for a loop because, like, I never did what I did. I've said this before. I didn't transition to hurt people. You know, I didn't
No.
transition to spread the gay agenda. No, that's why I podcast. But you know, I didn't transition to do any. I didn't transition for you. I didn't do it for you. I did it for me. Me. And in
Real
this
talk, the
country of
agenda is
individualism,
late.
huh?
The gay agenda is being late. That's the gay agenda.
That is the gay agenda.
Like,
You know, it's being fashionably late. But yeah, it's yeah, I didn't transition for you. Sorry.
Yeah, we walk faster than them.
Yeah. A gay walking lane. I think which is Southern Light, he was saying that in one of his posts. They should have like a gay walking lane and then a straight walking lane, you know, fast lane, slow
yeah,
lane.
but what happens when you go to pass a catty queer who speeds up to not let you pass them? And it becomes like the fucking highway and you're like power walking to like pass the person. Like,
As somebody who's
I
done
had a
this
fucking
before.
cis man do that to me on the sidewalk when I tried to walk by him one time, and I'm like, "What is your level of insecurity that you're trying to walk faster than a woman walking faster than you incredulous dog turd of a human being? Fuck! Just let me go. I don't want to be caught behind whipping your ass the whole walk. Like, fuck, bro."
So anyway, I started blasting.
You don't know how many times where like I'm like I really want to be like, straight people move, you know, like just like push them out of my way.
Move, I'm
But-
gay.
Literally, just move, I'm gay. But
We
I
started making the joke at Pride real quick. We started making the joke at Pride with my friends groups that the reason it goes so slow is because there's a bunch of the voyeuristic allies, because no queer will ever walk that slow in a crowd. We're always like, phone.
No, because
You're like,
you gotta stay moving. You gotta stay in constant
true.
motion, or else you're just fish in a barrel,
Allies,
baby.
man.
This is America.
allies are too slow. Get with it. Get with it.
Constant motion.
They're like
hate
sharks.
those-
I feel like Mad Eye
Or
Moody.
go
Constant
up
vigilance.
in the air.
I feel so bad though sometimes, like when I'm behind them though, because like I'm actually getting irritated because I'm like,
Scott, you're big enough. Just pick them up and move them, and slightly apologize afterwards.
That would be
I'm sorry.
such a
Sorry.
funny skit. Like, someone do it. I'm not a video editor, but oh my god, someone just
Somebody who won't move out of a doorway, and like the big, gentle, kind bear comes to physically pick them up because the person in the wheelchair needs to be able to get through, and they're unobservant to anybody outside of their like immediate 3-foot bubble. Like, I've seen this skit play out so many times. It's not even like a skit; it's just like a recurring archetype of like the bully trying to push people around on the playground. There will always be a jackass standing in the door when a wheelchair tries to go through it. I don't know what it is.
I always what in the skit though, it should be like the stereotypical iced coffee in the one hand and then a one-handed pickup, you know, whoop, boop, get out of my way.
I actually think it would be very nice to just do the gentle under the arms pickup like this,
Like a
you're-
kid.
That would
box.
be cute. Like
The
the teddy
box.
bear. The teddy bear. Yeah, that was the teddy bear.
Come here, right here.
I
Yep.
like the teddy bear carry. Me too.
Just let everybody needs to come through here now.
God.
Thanks.
Well, when Mamdani figures out how to clone himself,
Ugh.
you know, the progressive future that we'll
Or-
have,
You
we
don't
will have
know
our gay walking
how-
lane, god damn it.
Mhm.
Or when it finally happens, and I'm not talking about Trump dying, I'm talking about America collectively finding their testicles or ovaries or whatever fucking reproductive organ you want to grab, okay? Or lack thereof, if that's what you got. Like, shout out to you, bestie.
Maybe stop grabbing your reproductive organs and grab something called a book. Educate
I think
yourself.
that's the point of books. I think you should grab your 2A. You ain't gonna read your way out of this one. You gotta
Oh.
grab your angle grinder. You gotta grab your 9mm. You gotta grab your balaclava.
Honestly, the fact that we ran away from books is how we got here. And so I will
Yeah.
always come back to that. Like, as much as I do agree, self-defense, and yeah, shit could pop off and get really bad, and we have seen instances where it has. But we got here because everyone was like, "What's a book?"
Real talk, you're not even useful to actually do any revolutionary activity unless you understand the implicit like morality of the structure and immorality that is applied to people around it, right? So
Like, I learned the fact that the majority of Americans did not know what the 250th was. Like, oh, it's 250th of what? Of America. Of America doing what? America stuff. You know, like, they literally did not know. It was the signing of the Declaration of fucking Independence. Good God.
killing the British and saying that you don't represent us.
It was when we said fuck you to the British. Like,
You guys
It happened in my city, by the way. That happened here.
hey.
America, you had the funniest chance to make the real neat thing happen yesterday, and you didn't. I don't know why.
I mean,
I know. Trust us.
Look.
We all
You
said
opted
it
for the
too.
slow death of like the roads not being repaired instead of the Kaiser bottle being stabbed. I get it. I
Yeah.
mispronounced it correctly.
yeah, it's fun here, right?
Did you hear about his speech?
I did not. Oh,
About
so I
Trumpy's
did
speech?
read a deep dive of someone, that Heather. I don't know what her last name is. She writes the daily things about Trump.
He used a talking point that Adolf used. And
That
he
guy.
said that immigrants they just can't help their criminalness, essentially, that there's just something in them that makes them criminal. They have bad genes. And it's weird because, again, Adolf said this almost verbatim about Jewish people, and anyone else that, he didn't deem as,
Yeah.
And the thing is, too, is that I also want to emphasize on the podcast is that there's no such thing as a criminal gene.
Mm-mm.
It doesn't exist.
You
Like
could be
your dad,
hateful.
your father, you can have like mental health issues. Like you could be a sociopath or a psychopath, and a violent, have a violent personality disorder. But that's not what I'm talking about. Like there are many children of like high profile serial killers who live perfectly normal, very mentally sound, well adjusted lives. Um so Trump is a fascist piece of shit, and he proves it all the time, and he uses fascist talking points to hurt people. So there is no criminal gene that has ever been found. And when you're talking about mental health, it's way more complicated than that, and that's not what he's talking about. He is a moron, and you're a moron if you believe him.
If I may actually provide a really funny counter argument, what they talk about with criminal genes is just basically like, oh yeah, there's something in brown people that makes them just very shootable. That's basically what they're trying to say, right?
Yeah.
If there is a criminal gene that can actually be proven, though, it's inbreeding and a lack of genetic diversity that happens in a population that's bottlenecked when you've created an artificial condition of elevating them outside of the regular population and only breeding with other people who have this same specific type of sociopathic subset. And therefore, if there is a gene for criminality, the exact substrate to foster this condition would be in the upper echelon of the 0.1% because it would always be self-insular.
You should have been a lawyer. Like, you would be great in a courtroom, just like, la la la, let me just tap dance around everything you
even
said.
gave two fucks about the structure of this
Yeah.
society to respond in a legalese framework, but I consider that entire structure so invalid that I won't respond on those grounds. But yes, I do agree with what you're saying.
Yeah.
I would have made an excellent lawyer.
Yeah, but I could give a fuck about the law. Like,
I give a fuck about your laws on this stolen land, bitch. Get it back. Get it back.
I'm sort of in that mindset myself. Like, it's happening. It's everyone's forming little pockets of community, of support, I think the idea is we all get it, like right now, like we're not getting a lot of help, so we have to help ourselves. So that's kind of where the hope part of thing is, for me still, is that not all of us have completely given up and are just like, yeah, you can starve to death. That's cool. Thumbs up. We're not quite there. So.
Oh, excuse me. Ah.
Oh, I can't hear. Oh, Sophia, you're muted.
I want to do something that's going to hurt a lot of people's feelings. Can I do that? Can I say something really controversial that's probably going to hurt a lot of witches' feelings?
Oh no, but we do that here, so.
I don't consider divining by pendulum valid.
Interesting.
And I don't think that you're actually super accurate for doing it. And I can show you why. I have noticed that by holding a pendulum, I can literally just make it give me whatever answer I want. And it's actually responding to my energy around the question and not it. So, like, watch. It's going to spin clockwise now. Oh, look, it's starting to spin clockwise. Right? It's going to stop, and it's going to just go back to neutral and start spinning in a line. Yep, look at that. It's doing that. I'm not even moving my hand. I realize that it just goes wherever my energy goes. And if you're not careful about that, you could just have the pendulum just kind of be like, woo, right? And you're more tapping into actually how you feel about it than anything when you do pendulum stuff. It's good for aligning with your own inner state of cohesion on how you feel about something, but focus. Try a pendulum sometime. Don't actually look at it as like a yes, no, circle line thing. Try and make it go clockwise. Just watch it and imagine it go clockwise and watch how it'll just go clockwise. Now stop, and now watch it go counterclockwise, and it's just going to do that. You see that? See how I just did that both times? I'm not moving my hand. I'm not doing anything to deliberately try and do it other than just giving my energy, right?
I will say that particular method, which is the only method I ever learned, I do agree. Now, when I see people who have used dowsing tools, particularly
yes,
the pendulum,
if you have like a whole...
there's this modality, and I actually saw it at the retreat, and I really wish I would have asked. They a lot of people, like a lot of dowsers, who use this, there's a way in which you swing it intentionally. And as it's swinging, you're getting your answers, but I don't know I don't know what they're doing. You know what I mean? Like I know, like I could physically see what they're doing.
Bones. That's closer to throwing bones because you're reading the inference of what's happening on the in between there for like where your answer's coming from. Right.
And that I think is interesting, but I've never learned that way. And it's funny because I've had a very similar intuition about pendulum dividing in the way that you just did it, which is why I tend not to. But yeah.
So when it comes to me with pendulums,
sorry that I did that on camera too. I was just like, "Here, watch. Let me show you."
I'm glad you did, actually, because it's nice to have a visual for it. But because I've also experimented with pendulums, and I had actually it was like a necklace stand kind of thing. So it hung the one pendulum I have. It looked very similar to the one that you had, Sophia. It was just like a stone on just like a very simple chain, and so I'd hung that. And I was trying to calibrate it, as they say, show me yes, show me no, and it didn't move at all, didn't budge. And I was like, okay. So then I was like, so then does the pendulum move just based off of our hands are never truly still, right? Is it just micro movements of our hands, whatever. So then I tried, I said the same thing, holding it, show me yes, show me no, and it did move. And then I had kind of tabled pendulum work for a little bit because I didn't really need it. It was more of those magical experimentation sorts of things that I was doing. And then I had acquired this very interesting item. It's an old bell with they took the bell out, so it's just the hollow part, and then there's a clear quartz that was glued into the bell. And it has really nice weight, and it's on a leather cord. And I was like, oh, this is a huge pendulum, by what most people would use. But I'm like, this feels really nice. it also is a magical tool for me. Like, I will swing it around to cleanse the space. Like, quartz is very cleansing, so I'll also use it for that. But when I was using it as a pendulum sort of tool, I felt a very interesting connection with this thing, and I was holding it, and I was just like, swing forward, and it swung forward, and I was trying my best to like. I wasn't looking at it, like I wasn't trying to look at the actual pendulum. I was trying to look straight ahead at the wall and kind of see it from my peripheral and hold my hand really still, and it started to swing forward. I haven't been able to do that with other pendulums I have though. So I will say like sometimes it does depend on like
The relationship you have with it.
yeah, like with the object, but I do see what you're saying about it sort of moves based off of your energy around what you're
So what I'm trying
asking
to
it.
know is if I can make a pendulum move just by having my hands near it to get an answer. If
Right.
I could get without touching it, I would take that as a much more solid answer. But when you're holding it, it's so easy. I noticed how I physically noticed this was if my eyes would do like a certain motion, I noticed the pendulum would start following where my eyes went, and I was like,
Mm.
wait a minute. And I started spinning my eyes clockwise and it would go clockwise. And I was like, okay, well, let's go counterclockwise. And it started doing that. And I was like, okay, can we do this without the eyes? Yes, you can do it without the eyes. You can just do it with the feeling. Okay, and well then it's shorthanding it after that, right? But if I can't get this thing to move yes or no when it's tethered to an exterior thing that I'm not touching, I'm not going to take that as a source of divination, right?
I
Because
think
like
pendulums are better used for energy sources, not
yes, or like
necessarily
here's another thing.
divination.
You can divine with them, but you can divine about your emotions, right? Like
Oh
how do
yeah.
I like them? Yes, is what I'm feeling anxiety, right?
Mm.
If you're not sure, you can actually kind of get a feeling because what's going on with this is it's being affected subconsciously by how you're holding it and where your energy is placed. Like even if there is a non-tangible physical like psychic aspect, I can't move it right now when I'm not physically holding it, right? So
Yeah.
there is some type of
Um,
psychosomatic inference going on with that type of pendulum work, right?
the
Yeah.
ideomotor effect certainly comes into effect in it for
Sorry, go ahead.
sure. No, I was just it's just, the ideomotor effect. And I like what you said about like emotions and sort of
Yes.
divining yourself in that way. That makes a lot of sense. I like that. I also like the idea of, and I still experiment very similar to what you have set up there. I like to try, and I've never succeeded, but doesn't mean it hasn't been done. But I like to try to use them for spirit communication in exactly that way, hanging them up on
Mm-hmm.
something, and then
Like touch
seeing
it.
if in like a seance situation I could get yes or no from the spirit in an atmosphere. But the thing is that I've never been in well, that's not true. I've never had the opportunity when I have been in truly haunted, not just like I mean like actively haunted,
Mm.
not just like that passive haunting in the way that animists see the world in general, where we live in a haunted landscape, but like an active haunting where like things are moving and doors are closing, that kind of shit.
Mm-hmm.
Because that I think then that spirit has those particular virtues to be able to communicate in that way. I also don't think all spirits have the same I've heard people call them gifts, but I just don't think that all spirits have the same abilities. So like I think some spirits are better at like moving shit, some spirits are better at like manipulating your mood and the atmosphere, some spirits are better at manipulating technology,
Yeah.
and like that kind of thing. Um and they may have more than one capability, but they don't have them all. And more powerful ones might, ones that we could like call like poltergeists. But because I'm not 100, I know I'm a bit of a heretic when I say this, but I am not sold that poltergeists aren't spirits. I know for a lot of people it's like it's
Mm.
people, and I'm like,
Too. Look,
um,
no, both are real. I know that for a fact you can throw stuff
I do,
psychically.
I
And I
feel it.
know you agree with this too.
Yeah, 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 yeah.
I know some instances are people having their own psychosomatic experience where they're like actually doing a psychokinesis event without understanding
Absolutely.
that it's them doing it. But goddamn, can we stop being fucking reductionist about treating spirits like they don't exist? Because I'm getting real tired of that shit from
Right.
Western
That's
society.
then. Thank
I'm
you for
very sick of it.
understanding. I really appreciate you understanding
Yeah.
my point too, because that's kind of exactly what I was getting at. Like in a lot of the situations where, the few situations I've had where there was genuine poltergeist activity, it was not a person.
No, it
Um,
seldom is unless you're like a teenager who's emotional going through like a fucking traumatic event. It's usually a ghost, you know?
right.
Sorry for interrupting.
So that's why I would like to use. I would like to be in a situation where I might have a better opportunity to use pendulums in that way.
Mm.
Um, but I rarely find myself in situations like that because I mean, like I have things passed in my house, but it's a very passive haunting type situation. You know what I mean? Like things here, they're like the way I have my wards and stuff. They sort of they're bust out. You know what I mean? Like as you come in, scoot along. You know what I mean? Like yeah. Um,
Mm.
but other than that, I'm not in situations where I can experiment as much as I would
I have
like
a
to.
I have a big point I've been coalescing in response to this. And I've been kind of wondering about how to go about talking about it because I've been kind of breaking into a point in my practice now where it starts feeling like I'm getting into fantasy magic. And I'm not saying that to
Mm.
like gas myself up, right? But magic is really real. I think a lot of people play at this stuff thinking that it's just fairy tales. The biggest thing that I want people to really take away from me right now is whatever your culture is that you come from, I don't care where you're from. Those stories are more accurate depictions of the real state of the world than anything modern society is telling you. I I fully feel that with my bones. Like those stories of witchcraft, of what witches used to be able to do, they're not stories. They're not tall tales meant to scare people. They're accounts. This
Mm.
is actually how it used to work, right? There's a reason why magic was sought out as tirelessly as it was to be put to the blade. It works, and that's what scares everybody. Those stories of witches, of your ancestors, they're all fucking true. Every single last one of them. You should really go back and pay attention to whatever your culture is and view it with the specific lens of this isn't myth, this happened. This is someone telling me very important information. Out of everything they could have passed on to me for thousands of years of information, they told me these fucking stories. You think that these stories that they chose to tell me would be inaccurate? Would be lies? Would just be metaphors? Bro, come on, man. We're not that dumb. I mean, maybe some of us are, but like, no, I've seen it firsthand. I've literally had monsters that people don't even think are fucking real talk to me, okay? Like, it's making a comeback too, which is what's really weirding me out, okay? I don't know how to talk about this, so I'm just gonna kind of talk about it. There's this concept that a friend of mine came up with in high school, right? Um, he even came up with like a stupid business around it. It was called Rise of Magic. He called it ROMPRO, Rise of Magic Productions. And it was
Hmm.
the idea of like a modern world where magic just kind of came back and it rose back up. And here I am watching it happen, and I'm a little bit creeped out about it, right? In his thing, it's just like, what if all of a sudden people just got D&D powers, and it was in like a modern, so you had like modern
Mm.
tech, and then people figured out D&D magic on top of that, right? But we are actually undergoing a process right now that I'm observing where a lot of people are getting connected with their cultures in a much more direct
Yes.
way, like the Western mainstream culture. And every time this happens, there's always like this kind of like draw to create a controversy in mainstream society to pull people off of that archaic renewal path, right?
Mm.
Like you saw this with like the Norse heathen revival, and all of a sudden like the rise of like hardcore right-wing white supremacist rhetoric, right? There's always like this kind of like counterplay where when people are going for their archaic roots and understanding these like older knowledge systems that are correct, that they have to like weave in either some type of controversy to those systems themselves or deny somebody access to those systems
Mm.
themselves, right?
Mhm.
Like I'll talk about it because it's my experience. I'm mixed Métis. I don't give a fuck if anybody thinks another way or 12 about it just because I can't prove it because my family doesn't have like status. So many people are disavowed status. Like bands used to keep track of their own status records before 1920, before the Canadian government got and gathered them all and now has control over everything, gets to say who is and isn't mixed, right? And like as somebody with an identity that's so incredibly politicized, I feel like there's a muzzle being put on me constantly. Like I'm not allowed to talk about my own life experiences or like what's happened to me or like the spirits that have come to me or like everything and that I'm stuck at with like this middle of the road experience of being this mixed mutt who's denied access to like cultural space because of like a colonial genocide, right? Like the real talk is Indigenous people know who their relations are. If I go and hang out with other Métis people and they can recognize me as Métis because of my lived experiences and our connections, that's a fucking community, right?
That's
It's
what
not
should matter.
exterior. Yeah, and I
Yeah.
basically started dating somebody who's also Métis, and that's why I'm stepping stronger back into talking about it because like literally my whole goddamn life was like a Cree-Métis upbringing and I didn't even fucking realize it because like everything that I had been through, right?
Yeah.
And like why should I even feel like I have to walk on eggshells even to just talk about my life, right? It's because they're either going to deny you access to your identity, like they're doing to Métis people, like they're doing to Indigenous people of mixed varieties, or even like status natives who are getting like pulled their stuff from them through disenfranchisement, or they'll sow controversies into it. They'll tell you that like your Norse practices are tied to white supremacist ideology and you can't use the which one? The rune that's like this. It's inheritance.
Oh, Othala.
I mean, Othala. Yeah, how
Yeah.
because how Othala has been appropriated by white supremacists and like how Norse heathens always have to work around it. Like we are in the middle of a constant battle for the narrative of what the world we live in is, and
Yeah.
that's actually the core of the issue. It's class warfare, yes, but the class warfare is always about controlling how people conceptualize of the world. And it's always the archaic revival that threatens them the most. That's why they came after witches. This is why they go after women. This is why they go after minorities. This is why, even if you look like not white, like a brown person who bleaches your hair, if you appease whiteness, you'll be granted proximity within those spaces because they're looking for homogeneity and for everybody to come into this culture that is not their individual cultures that they came from that actually have an accurate representation of the world that you live within because they want to sell you a fucking lie. End rant.
I would be so bored if paganism, and that is a huge umbrella term that I'm using, if paganism was the same, if paganism was uniform, if there was the pagan church. So like I would hate if, every single, religion and movement united under paganism. It would be the most generic, watered down.
It
Like
would
I'm just
it,
thinking about just when we
it would
write
destroy your
ritual.
practice.
Right, it would completely, all the culture would be stripped of it. And I have actually in studying Braucherei has given me, I had to make peace with Christianity. It gave me a moment. I really had to make peace with Christianity because I had to realize that yes, Christians, they were persecuted. They were absolutely persecuted because they just wanted to believe something more true to what they wanted to believe, what they wanted to believe. So like this idea of the Catholic Church is coming in and they're trying to unify it, and they're saying, well, these books count and these books, and this counts and this doesn't, and but it's like, but it was all said in the name of Christ, it was all said in the name of Jesus, like all these things were said. It's like, how can you say he didn't say that? I was there, I heard it, like he said what he said, but you're not going to include it. So it was this idea of like over in Europe, they took the church and then they made it the government too. So the church was the government, and it was all kind of one and the same. And and a lot of us were like, "Hey, no, I'm not down with that." And they were encroaching on territory and more land was getting taken from them. And so when they did finally get on those boats to come over here, a lot of them came as refugees. A lot of them came as people just looking to be like, I need out, I need freedom. And that's really what it was. And that's why in America we're like, yeah, freedom, but like freedom, that's what it was supposed to fucking be.
Freedom from
Until
oppression
yeah, it was
of
supposed to
the
be freedom from oppression.
right.
Yeah.
But
But
here's the thing I keep trying to remind people about. So we do this thing in BIPOC communities where we treat like people who aren't white like we're inherently morally superior or better because we didn't colonize the world. And it's kind of like a little reductive,
Ooh.
right? Because then you villainize white people and then you're not actually cognizant of your own harm. Like, I'm gonna be real, if we were better, there wouldn't be fucking lateral violence. Like, I see a lot of goddamn lateral violence
So
between different
much.
racialized communities, and it makes me bite my tongue because it's like, how can you be a marginalized identity yourself and have the world lean against you like that, but then just go and repeat the same type of shit about another type of marginalized identity without realizing that it's propaganda against them, right?
Exactly.
So
I mean, Scott talked about that. We touched on that a little bit. Like when we get into our, sometimes you get a queer superiority complex, right? You know, like, and we touched on it a little bit here through humor in this episode, right? Oh, you know, like the straights, when we're like, the straights are not okay. You know, when we make those sorts of
Yeah.
comments like that, I can understand if you're a straight person and you're hanging out with queer people, you're in on the joke. You get it, right?
Mhm.
It's fine. But if you're not in on the joke, I'm telling you, it is not. We're not being mean and hateful. We're actually being very loving. Because when we say the straights are not okay, it's because we want the straights to be okay. We want you to be, though. We
Real
want to
talk,
help you get there.
if your friend loves you, your friend isn't gonna come over to you when you're dying of fucking drinking yourself to death and give you more alcohol. Your friend is going to tell you that you are going to die if you don't stop what you are doing. That is what it means to care about somebody. It means to pull them back from the brink sometimes, to not let them engage in their self-destructive behavior. It means to slap them upside the fucking head and say, what is wrong with you?
Yeah.
Right? That's what it means to care about people. Not this, like, we're gonna constantly condone the destruction of people in our own communities for, like, the sake of, like, consent boundaries. Like, what the fuck? Like, as if, just it's complicated. I don't even want to get into it too much. That's, like, a whole other egg of stuff, and I kind of wanted to talk more about the lateral violence angle that I was bringing up with this, and why I was bringing up all this. We forget that white people were the first people who got colonized, right?
Yes.
And I brought this up to another Métis person, right? The reason why I think a lot of Irish people and Scottish people have, like, married a lot of Indigenous people over here is because that was kind of like ground zero for the type of colonization that spread outwards. And those people that needed to flee that oppression to go elsewhere to try and gain back a sense of sovereignty. And they would meet other people who've undergone the same type of oppression and can understand that shared wound. And that makes you a type of kin because pain knows pain, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so they were able to recognize having your culture taken from you in a way that is very deep and intimate that other people can't. And so a lot of Scottish people and a lot of like Irish people married into Métis and Indigenous families out here because colonization happened in Europe first. And we forget this, and then we over villainize white people, not understanding that it is the structure of people who are in control, not the fucking unmelanated people that they put on the front lines to suffer for them, who are just suffering through their own psychoses of growing up in a society that doesn't value them or give them a place that is meaningful or cherished. They treat you as disposable and then wonder why you act that way.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it's fucked, and I see what happens because I'm mixed. I'm like, I've literally had to be like, see both fucking worlds and see how people get it and how, like, it all goes around, and, like, everybody's playing the cards that they get dealt, but all of us are getting fucked by the same people, right? And they're the ones dealing the cards, right?
They're printing the
It ain't
cards.
about what's
They're
in your hand. It's about who's handing, who has the fucking deck. That's what it's about.
Yeah,
right?
and it's just
Took
stacked.
the land from us.
Oh.
I can't see that. Your camera's blurring it out, Scott.
Damn.
It's we'll try and adjust the.
Hold it next to your face. Do this. Like, do this. Do this.
Oh, okay.
Yes, it's working.
Yeah, that works.
The chariot.
The chariot.
The chariot. Yes, it looks like Justice with her scales at this point, because, like, she has her arm up like this. Hold it back up, and then the below from kind of look at the scales below, and, like, she's sitting above it. But I can see how you're describing that as the chariot now, and that's actually like the two horses being drawn with it.
Two horses, yeah.
Okay.
But it can be seen as scales through the blur, which is very interesting.
That is interesting.
What deck is that?
So this is actually a Marseille deck from Deviant Moon. They make the Deviant Moon. So they give you free cards to, like, tickle your pickle when you get different decks from them. So they're like, here's free cards from our other decks. And I just got a couple weeks ago. I got I just got
Like one of the extra magician cards.
that's from the Thoth deck, right?
I actually don't like this deck now as an older tarot reader, but I'll talk about that after.
But they give you free cards. This is from their Marseille, and then I got one from their Mildred Payne's Pocket Oracle, which I actually do have coming for it's my birthday present from Darian. I got the deluxe edition coming in the mail. It'll be here like hopefully before Wednesday because I have a beach day on Wednesday. But yeah, I'm going to Cape May. But what should I call it? Yeah, it's funny because like I have a lot of Marseille decks, and as much as I love this, I have a lot of them already. I don't need another one, but it is really nice, and I do really like it. And the back is like,
oh,
cute.
That's very nice, cute.
Yeah. So are you ready?
So I might get it.
Why I don't like the Thoth deck?
Because
it's fucking bad. Real talk.
Because it's fucking bad. You know why I don't like it? Because it's fucking bad. A blog article.
No, honestly. It literally takes the meanings of other tarot cards on other decks and just fucking inverts it for itself.
Fucking Crowley, right? Man.
And like, it's literally when I'm going through it, I'm like, when I was younger, I liked that it was very like it had a lot of bad stuff in it, and I could get a more clean reading out of it because I was not skilled at divination with like a regular wider weight by comparison.
It's funny as you age how you're
older witch. I'm like, bitch, I don't need nothing but a rider weight and a fucking deck of bicycle cards to actually get a good divination out going. I don't need the fuck my dick Crowley, add in extra Thoth associations, make it extra holy, and then switch around the meanings of the fucking cards themselves.
Because I'm like, Crowley and I do whatever. I'd like sometimes with Crowley, like his shit's cool, I guess. You know, if you browse through it, like you can get some. You see what he was cooking, you know, you're like, okay, I get it. I see what you were doing. I'm gonna snag little bits and pieces of your shit. Have a nice day. That's pretty much where I leave it.
Real quick, if you're not good with a rider weight deck, skill issue.
I don't read rider weight. I actually don't.
It's not for everybody, but like I see the people who actually read it, and I watch like professional diviners now because I've been like paying attention to them. They know that deck inside and fucking out.
Yes.
And like a card that you might not actually interpret to mean a big thing means a big thing. Like the 2 of Cups means a big fucking thing, right? Versus like the 3 of Cups, right? And how you really have to look at the art on the card and draw a little bit more intuitively from those cards and like read what's happening in it, you know? Because a lot of people read the fucking book and the rider weight is extremely self-explanatory in the art itself.
You know what I mean? You actually kind of inspired me. I know we have kind of dropped off of Cartomancy Club on the full moons. Life, whatever. But I would like to get back into it. And I think it would be really fun in particular to practice doing readings without our accompanying books. I think that would be a lot of fun. Because
just read the card.
Yeah, I think that would be a lot of fun. Because when I read, that is how I read. Now, when we were in the clubs... a lot of us were just we were at the phase, we're just comparing, this is what deck I have, you know, this is the deck I have, these are the things that I have. But what do you actually read with? What's your go-to? What's your main? You know what I mean? Like, we all have our hordes of decks and, you know, things and stuff like that, sure. But I have found there's probably like 5 that I always go to, that I always gravitate toward, you know, but I really do not read, rider weight. But what I will say is whatever you are reading with, whether it's runes, whether it's Lenormand, whether it's oracle decks, know that deck inside and out. See it in your sleep, know it, breathe it, taste it, lick it, you know, whatever you got to do, know that deck.
Ever since I moved to
addendum, I don't want to say that using a deck that isn't the rider weight makes you a bad diviner. Having a good connection with your personal deck is important, but just that,
know
like,
how to
you
read
can
it.
literally do whatever you need with the rider weight is the fucking Swiss Army knife. You know what I mean? Like, I get that people won't connect with it personally. Like, for example, I have the Celestial Tarot here. I was actually going to go through why I don't like this one versus other ones, but I might cogged enough. So please, Scott.
No, I was just gonna say, ever since I moved, so I have my favorite Morgan Greer deck, which is based off of course, the Rider Waite. Um, and the Morgan Greer, it's amazing. It's colorful and vibrant, and it's beautiful, and it spoke to me a lot. But the problem is that with any of the Rider Waite or any of the system or any of the tarot decks that were inspired by it, you have to understand Hermeticism, and I am not that kind of practitioner.
Hmm.
Yes.
And it's not,
Me
and
either.
I want to say that it's not that I think it's ineffective. It's just that that's not who I am. I don't spend my time studying those things. So I kind of wanted something that made more sense to my folk practice and my traditional witchcraft, which
Mm,
means it would have been the bicycle deck and a Mersai.
yeah.
And just as a practitioner, I am very picky with it, but I also like very particular kinds of oracles. My
Yes.
particular
Yes.
kinds of
Yes. Yes.
oracles,
Yes.
I do not like I'm not a Doreen Virtue or I don't mean that. I'm talking like what was it? The is it Unfettered Wood Oracle? I think it was called. Andrew Schwartz was the artist. I cannot remember the title of them, and they're actually over there, but I don't feel like getting up. Um I like oracles that are like, here are some general meanings, but what do you apply to them?
Yeah.
Now
Mhm.
write that down and learn it, right? So the Unfettered Wood, there's the Oracle Black Enchantment that I just got,
Yep.
that I'm really obsessed with. The new Pocket Oracle, which a lot of people read those together. They're like
Mhm.
they're not meant to be, but they're very complementary with the Pocket
Uh,
Oracle that I'm getting. So that's kind of my thing, but I am looking into other systems of divination because I want to expand my repertoire. I love cartomancy, and I still need to learn the Marseille and the bicycle deck. But learning the Marseille and learning the bicycle deck, they're kind of very similar because the Marseille and the bicycle deck are cartomantic and they're not tarot. Although they're all cartomancy, tarot is a system unto itself. It is the
Hmm.
system of tarot.
Hmm.
And that is not this, and that is not the bicycle deck. It is not even the Lenormand deck, by the
yeah.
way, which I also enjoy.
Mm.
Um, they are
Just
cartomancy systems. And I'm sorry.
no.
Mhm.
You're good. I thought you were done.
Oh,
Go
okay.
ahead.
No, they read in a particular way, and I like that. I like that when I lay my cards down, they are sort of they're making a sentence. I really enjoy that way, which is, if you could see the theme about sort of cartomantic reading and the system of the tarot, it's a little different. And again, like if you could tell, I can't even give to you the difference because I never learned tarot in such an intimate way that I had a deeper understanding of it more than just an interpretable tool that I use to reflect my own psychic, right?
Yes.
My own psychic mind, which is useful, but the cards are so much more in depth. The tarot can be a much more in depth system when you understand it as the system that it was designed to be. So I honestly, so even though I was giving really good readings, but that's just because I'm a seer and I'm just able to sort of use it as a medium. But I
Yes.
want to be able to have a tool like these, but I also like right now, my non-cartomantic tools, um I actually just gave my mom
Mhm.
geomantic shields to print out for me. I'm learning how to do the full shield and how to
Mm.
conjure the mothers and the daughters, and
Oh.
I forget what the other two are, and the final one. I'm learning how to do all of that. I also have another thing that I probably will be getting for my birthday as well to help with my geomancy. Um,
Hmm.
my yeah. So what are the just to get to it? I'm sorry, I'm over explaining. So
You're good. I love it
geomancy.
when you explain.
Oh, okay. Geomancy. Uh, Tessiomancy, tea leaf reading, and crystal ball. That's kind of a big thing for those are kind of my non-cartomantic systems of divination that I'm really interested in, and will be spending like kind of the rest of my practice really leaning into. Um, but I think that it's always good to try to diversify because I'm still really fascinated by lithiomancy. which is this
Oh,
it
opening
is
a book? No, that's bibliomancy. What's
no,
lithium?
lithomancy, you get little tiny semi-precious stones, and it's more about the color than what they are. So you'll have like a red stone and a blue stone, but they all represent a planet. They're all planets. And then
Mm.
there's a center stone that represents you, the current. And you think of your question, you toss it down, and you read based on like trajectory and where they are on the reading. I had an amazing lithomantic reading at Pagan Pride Day, and let me tell you, I was like,
Interesting.
whoa!
My
Like,
divination is system is throwing, by the way. I love
I
throwing
love
systems. They're
throwing.
so fucking accurate. It's crazy. Real quick, I have to say one thing that's going to make you guys cackle. I realized while we were talking about this that the equivalent of what drag is in the occult is divination. It's where all the performance goes, all the cat, all the pomp, all
It is
the
kind of
mm,
true, yeah.
because it is the drag
Yeah.
community in the cult space. It is divination. I will die on this fucking hill.
Mm,
I love
Divine
I
that.
nerds are
love
like
it.
the drag queens of the occult community.
Write the deep dive post. In this essay, I will explain
I mean,
The
and
overlaps between divination and
and drag.
drag.
I also do want to say to like anybody that'll see this, I want to say too that as practitioners, you should forever be a student, and
Yes.
that you can invest your time in whatever you want to. Um, if you are the kind of person that has the time or the wherewithal to study multiple systems and get good at them, I really suggest that you do it. Um, even I was like, these particular four things that I really enjoy, but also lithomancy, like, there's this fifth other thing, but
Whatever you're doing, though, learn that system and get good at it. Because that's what I was trying to say with the
that's
whole
literally the point
rider
that I'm
weight.
trying to
Because
make.
the rider
Right.
weight is everything that you need in it. If that's why I wanted to redundate. It doesn't matter if you connect with another deck more personally. I have a friend who gives the most in-depth readings of like so many people, and they're using 4 different decks at the same time for a hybrid system that they know of, like this one tarot and then this other tarot and then like the arcane bullshit, and they're like
Alleyman's
pumping
tarot.
around with that. Like their divination is so on the next level. I'm like, yeah, you know what the fuck you're doing. Let's go, right? And I'm just watching. I just let them do. I don't even try to understand what their divination system is, right? Because at the end of the day, the worst thing that you can do is think that you fucking know it all, because you don't,
Yeah.
and you can't, you never will. I've been reading occult shit for 20 fucking years now, and I literally never heard of the daughter mother thing that Scott was just talking about, like not even 10 minutes ago, right? And I was like
Yeah, I
going,
hadn't
I've
heard
never
about
heard that in my
I
head.
wasn't familiar with that either. I was like, I
Don't
think I
be that
kind of
cunt
heard.
who says that you've heard of every single thing. If you haven't heard of it, just be genuinely curious about it, right? It doesn't
Yeah.
matter if you feel like you should know what an LBRP is. It's gonna come up later that you acted like you knew what it was, and then that just makes you look like a cunt. Because most of the stuff in the occult is about working on yourself. It's about developing you as a person, right? Like if you're missing those steps and you're going and doing ego appeasement on like shitty ways by lying about like how practiced you are, you're literally doing the opposite of what witchcraft is, which is ego dissolvement, like dissolution. You're breaking down that barrier between the self and the other. You're quieting that little fucking voice in the back of your head that says, eat the candy, go, kick the kid down the stairs, whatever nasty thing that's in the back of your head. Or maybe like you don't even have that nasty voice, right? But the point is, the occult is the process of working on yourself, pulling out whatever pains and imperfections and flaws you have and filling them up with gold, baby.
Mm.
Because, like, let me tell you, when you got a crystal, the most radiant spots of it that catch the reflection is where there's microfractures on the inside. But the microfractures that don't split allow a prismatic effect. And it is your fractures that make you more radiant than your perfections ever could be. You
Mhm.
just have to understand it and not let them break you apart so far that you fall apart.
Yes, exactly. I
Yeah.
love that. That was beautiful.
That
I
Thank you.
mean,
was it.
that's exactly what it's about, right? It's about constantly being able to look at ourselves in the mirror and be honest about it all, our good, our bad, and our ugly.
Yeah.
Um, And I loved what you said about the ego. And I've said before, but I've noticed that the path of magic in general, regardless of tradition, it asks you to do one incredibly difficult task, and that is to get to a place where your ego can say, "I trust you. I'll step aside."
Mm.
Um, and once that happens, that's when you really take off. And it's hard. Sometimes you'll find that it steps aside for certain things, and other things it's like you're not there yet. We're not at that state yet. I don't know if I
Yeah.
trust you yet.
I don't.
And hmm,
Sorry, go ahead.
no, it takes no. It just takes a long time sometimes to really have the accountability and the self-awareness that we were talking about earlier. You cannot be unself-aware and practice magic. I'm sorry.
It will
I just don't
destroy
know
you.
how. Yeah. I've watched it happen. Like, I have friends who've done who did the Luciferian. So, like, in Luciferianism, there's this thing where you descend the shadow tree and then you go up. So you got to go like down and then back up
Yeah,
so you go through the Qupith and then you go through
the Claypole. Yeah,
and
yeah.
the thing is that you can get stuck in certain spheres and you don't make your way out of it. Now, of course, it's not like, getting sucked into a dimension exactly, but like that your mental state is stuck processing that stuff, and you're stuck in a cycle, and you're
Mm.
not getting out because you become trapped. You've kind
Mhm.
of fumbled because. Hmm?
That's what's happening with MAGA. They're stuck in a sphere. They
Oh,
can't move.
yeah. They can't get
They're
out, right.
they're
And
just
this
self-consuming
is
the
that's a
aura.
great example. Exactly. Exactly, and that's what it looks like. It will destroy you. That's why Sophia said that. It will literally destroy you. So, and this is any tradition, by the way. The mysteries will destroy you if you do not know yourself.
100%.
Know yourself or be destroyed. That should be the new slogan.
Actually,
Oof.
you know what's the best part? I'm going to tell you this. Know yourself and you're still going to get destroyed because that's the point, bitch. You don't come to
That
magic
too. That
it's
too. But it can either be in a transformative way.
you're not perfect how you are now. The person that you want to be is the person that you're here for. So you too will be destroyed and you will die. And the person who goes to the ritual is not the person who walks back if you've done it correctly, right? If
Mm.
you come back the exact same person, you ain't doing fucking magic, man.
Yeah. Oh, I know. I'm like, that feels like a great sign off kind of thing. Any last thoughts?
Work on yourself, bitch. Also be
Um,
gentle on yourself because you need a break, doll.
That
Also,
too.
Scott,
That
share
too.
that stuff because I feel like I remember reading about that in one of those geomancy books that you had shared with me.
Oh, yeah.
Actually,
Uh,
Yeah.
I have good advice.
I'm gonna share a
Be
video.
be the friend that you wish that you had.
Hmm.
Mm,
Be the friend that you wish that you had for yourself. The friend who should have given you the advice to tell you to not take that drink when you know that you shouldn't, but you did it anyways because there was nobody there to tell you not to be.
Hmm.
You can be that friend for yourself. In fact, you are going to have to be that friend for yourself more than anybody else, right?
yep.
And when you learn to be a friend to yourself, you start treating yourself differently and you start valuing yourself differently and you start
Ooh.
valuing the people around you differently and you start realizing how much you've been just looking at other people to see yourself in them, and then you can finally see them for who they are and start learning about them and start providing care for them. And the way that that makes people feel seen will absolutely transform your relationships. But you have to let go. You have to really fucking let go of who you think you're supposed to be and just tune into what you are and how you feel and where you're going, right? Let go of those fucking obligations. Listen to your emotions. Your heart always knows the way home.
Hmm. I love that.
Yeah.
Alrighty. So I really don't have anything else to close that out on. Very, always very good with words. Um,
I
yeah.
try.
I believe all right, so we're trying to really record every other week. So we will not be back next week, so we'll be back the following. Yeah. So
And
this
I will
was
have a video about geomancy for you guys, Jay. I'll send it to you.
oh sweet. Yeah.
Right?
You could also just put it, just in the one of them
Oh, and
channels. Pick
yeah,
one.
which channel should I put it in?
Whichever one looks good for you. I don't know.
You feel like that.
Whatever you're feeling.
I'll probably put it in general so I don't have to choose.
All right, sounds good. Alrighty, everyone. We will see you all in the next one. Bye, everyone.
Bye.
Is catch